Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and amazing and wonderful and that you're all having an incredible day. Leaving a like and a comment helps out the channel's algorithm immensely. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. There's a lot to cover. I'm not sure how so much can happen over the course of a 24-hour period, but alas, here we are. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin's price resumes increase as the bulls aim for a larger rally to 25,000 US dollars. The name of the game right now is exactly how high Bitcoin is going to go over the course of the next, I want to say even 2 or 3. I'll give it a good 3 months. The wider analytic area of the space believes that Bitcoin is going to settle somewhere around $30,000 to $35,000 before we get any proper indications that Bitcoin is going to go any higher or see exactly where it ends up going from there. A lot of the people who were even announcing before that they believed that Bitcoin needed to go back down to $10,000. I'm sure you remember them because I made fun of them as I always do on this channel. There were a lot of people who kept on saying that this rally didn't look right, didn't blah, blah, blah. The Bitcoin had to go back down to between the $8,000 to $10,000 to prove itself that it had another level of resistance. And now all these people are chiming in saying that this rally is real. Bitcoin's going to go a lot higher. It's because they don't know anything, as history has shown. It says Ethereum price holds ground and sees a fresh rally. Bulls are not done yet. If you haven't caught on, the news of the day is that prices are back up. A lot of people are quite excited. Everyone's trying to figure out where things are going to go. I think Ethereum is currently up by around 4 or 5% at the time of me making this video. It says EOS price analysis rally could resume above $1.12. Really weird. EOS is constantly in the cryptocurrency news, despite the fact that EOS is never in the news. EOS's price is always spoken about. People are always talking about the next bullish trend and the next bullish this and how high the coin can go. And is it going to $2? Will it be $3 or $4 or $5? All over again. But there's never any EOS update or EOS upgrade or anything like that. We heard news back in 2021. I'm sure a lot of you forgot. I did not. About the EOS team who was like that they were going to take over from the guy who fumbled everything before. They raised, was it $4 billion in their ICO and did absolutely nothing with it. All these people, I assume, have only disappeared with all the money. But EOS price news is constantly spoken about, which I find incredibly weird. It says Bitcoin crypto analyst says Bitcoin heads straight to $30,000 from here. Why are they saying that? Because everyone who was so negative before on Bitcoin's price is now realizing that Bitcoin's price has been rising over the course of the last 3.5 weeks. And now they can only chime in talking about how bullish that this actually is. $30,000 appears to be the number that we are all looking for, waiting for, as a potential catalyst for Bitcoin to move up higher or to show us exactly how much ground it can stand around this number. Litecoin price analysis, it says uptrend is intact above $85. Apparently the number to look out for Litecoin by spring, I believe, is $150 as we get closer to the Litecoin halving event, which a number of people, not a lot of people, are actually quite excited about. Litecoin is a legacy coin. It is still relatively popular amongst a smaller number of people who are actually holding the coin. So, I mean, at least the price is going up. That's something. It says enormously bullish indicator suggesting crypto rebound. This was said by Skybridge Capital CEO Anthony Scaramucci, who is famous for not only being rich, but for having money. That's basically the reason why this guy is always in the news. He was one of the people, if I am not mistaken, who indicated a couple of weeks ago that Bitcoin was going down. Bitcoin had to fall down further. He has always, and I do say this, he has always been an advocate of Bitcoin, but I believe he was one of the people who kept on saying that Bitcoin had much, much further down to go. I assume that's because him and his friends were wanting the price to go down so that they could buy a lot more. But now that prices have risen, he is one of the people who has, vocally chimed in to talk about exactly how powerful and strong and amazing this rally is going to be and how much higher we will be by the end of the year. A lot of people are expecting a relative number of $40,000 to $50,000 to $60,000 per Bitcoin by the end of this year as we move into the halving in 2024, as we have seen historically take place before. Not the halving, I mean more so the price increases, if you will. The price news of the day is Aptos. That is Aptos. It sounds like Zapdos, but there's no Z there. It says coin of the day on the screen. I've been seeing a lot of chatter about this coin. It says Aptos is up by 45%. I believe that is at the moment. Aptos token rise in price, but reach highly negative funding rate. So I will say this. This coin is everywhere right now. As I have been in the crypto market for a very long time, all I can do is offer you my information that I have from literal years of knowledge being in this space. This coin came out of nowhere. This coin's price has been rising quite significantly off of very little news. I know that there is news, but this is not the kind of news that would get you to rise by nearly 400% over the course of a couple of days. Please understand that if you have put your money into this coin, do not be afraid to take profit. A lot of people sometimes will see that they have tripled or quadrupled their money, and they will simply go, well, I'll wait till it does another 10x. The coin ends up going down. They realize they've made no money. They end up miserable. If you have been looking at this coin and have been looking to jump into this position or think that the coin could go a lot higher, I implore you, if you do not put all of your money into one basket, as it were, into Aptos. We know very little about this coin. We know of the coin, but if you've been paying attention, how many other people have been talking about this coin nonstop over the course of the last 5 to 6 months? Not many people. So if you do decide to jump into this coin, understand that you might be at the end of this coin's rally, as this coin has no real news backing it that says that it should be continuing another 5,000% increase. I'll put it to you that way. This coin is everywhere right now. Apparently, the surge in value is due to PancakeSwap's community vote. It says, what's going on with the price of Aptos? The Aptos token is up by a remarkable 350% since the start of the year. All I can say is just be wary. We have seen this before. If you've been following this channel, I try my best not to be a hype channel. I know sometimes when prices rise by 30, 40, 50% for the wider market, it's difficult for me to contain my excitement. But on the leveled days, there is always a coin that comes out of nowhere that does extremely well, that a lot of people then fall into. And in 4, 5, 6 weeks, we no longer hear about the coin. If you are looking to invest in this coin, look at the actual fundamentals. You can find the information out there. This is why I always say, do your own research. Look around, figure out exactly how many people are using this coin per day, how many people are on the development team. You want to be looking for at least a 100, if not a couple hundred people. Are they processing hundreds of millions, if not low billions of dollars every single day through the blockchain? Were they doing this 2 months ago? Is the surge quite random? Could it have been manipulated in some sort of way? Trying to protect all of your money, because I've seen this so many times. A coin pops up, everyone ends up loving it, throws their money into it. 5 weeks later, it's never spoken about again. A brand new coin pops up, everyone starts talking about it, throws their money into it. 5 weeks later, no one's talking about it again. Aptos is very popular right now, so make sure to do research before you throw your money into it. It says, is the Bitcoin bear market over? An increasingly strong confluence of on-chain and technical indicators say yes. For those of you who were unaware of what happened yesterday, prices took a bit of a dip. I knew immediately what it was. It's always the exact same thing. Whenever the cryptocurrency, especially over the last 15 months, whenever crypto's going up, it's mainly because of the stock market. If we go up more than the stock market, it's because we have tons of extra people throwing in huge amounts of money into our market. If the cryptocurrency market dips, it is also because of the stock market. I saw something, I forgot what, there were so many articles and I couldn't help but lightly chuckle in the room. I think prices had fallen by around 3 to 6% across multiple different cryptocurrencies yesterday. And there were so many articles like, is this it? Is it over? Is crypto finally coming to an end? And I'm like, just please slow down a tiny bit. Two things happened over the course of the last couple of days. Not only did stocks fall based on earnings reports, for those of you not looking at the screen, it says New York Stock Exchange blames manual error for a trading glitch. Apparently on the New York Stock Exchange, allegedly yesterday, and they say that this was caused by an employee who didn't know what they were doing. I'm, paraphrasing here. Stocks began to fall because of trading errors. People were putting in buys, they became sells. People were trying to sell, they became buys. Everything was really topsy-turvy, so they had to, I think it affected hundreds of different stocks. So not like one individual company, it was hundreds of them at the exact same time. People began to panic. What's going on? Why are the numbers going up and down? The numbers are making a lot of sense. Therefore, people were losing their minds and the stock market ended up going down. Stocks also slightly fell based off of investor earnings that we've been seeing over the last couple of months. A lot of companies right now are beginning to announce exactly how much money they did or did not make over the course of 2022. It was a rough year for everyone, and this is why we saw and still are seeing so many pieces of news about layoffs. The more layoffs a company has done, the higher the valuation of the company actually ends up going back up. So stocks did fall a tiny percent. It says the NASDAQ composite fell by 0.2%. Right. I assume that's also off the back of the error that the New York Stock Exchange was having. However, as the cryptocurrency market is currently in green, can you guess what's happening to the stock markets that are currently open around the world? Yep. It says European market climbs as positive momentum ends up building. There's a lot of, and I'm going to pull it back here, there's a lot of reason to celebrate or become more optimistic on the future of worldwide markets. A lot of the earning reports were not terrible. We had expected a lot of the numbers. Sometimes we were off by 1 or 2%, what have you, so on and so forth. The really big news of the day, it says the Bank of Canada is eyeing its final interest rate hike before a likely pause. Yeah, a number of central banks around the world have announced that they are at the point where they are probably going to raise interest rates maybe once or maybe twice more, and then they are going to stop raising interest rates. Can anyone tell me why this sounds familiar? Exactly, because it's exactly what we are expecting to happen from the Federal Reserve. The idea that banks around the world are doing this before the Fed means that more than likely the Fed is also planning to do the exact same thing, and they're basically trying to get one leg in the door before they can. Bank of Canada signals likely pause in tightening after latest interest rate rise. There we go. That's the word. The Reserve Bank of Australia approaches pause in interest rate hikes. This was said by what's the NAB stand for? The National Altruistic Bankers. I don't know what it stands for. I don't remember. No, National Australian Bank. I was close. I was very, very close. So yeah, a lot of the interest today is on the idea that we are going to be seeing another interest rate hike, I believe, very soon, or if not the 1st of February. I forgot when it is for the United States. A lot of the other banks around the world have said, allegedly, that their reasoning for slowing down is that they believe that their quantitative tightening has actually caused inflation to rapidly decrease. So they say, sure, why not? A large part of what this actually is, for those of you who have not been paying attention, is the markets haven't been doing well. And I know that sounds like a simple answer. It's more like the people who would otherwise be making hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, have realized over the course of the last 13, 14 months that they have not been making any money. So now it's time for the Federal Reserves around the world to really get it together to kind of stop what they're doing, to pause interest rate hikes, and heaven help the markets. The moment we hear that the interest rates are actually lowering, I have friends who are salivating. I wish I could explain to you. Not only are they waiting for interest rates to stop rising as they're dumping tons of money into all the markets right now, the moment interest rates begin to fall once again, 4%, 3.5%, 2.5%, they plan on buying an enormous amount of real estate just because I think everyone is. I think is that also it over here as well? Interest rate, yeah. The Fed and Bank of Canada have reason to pause hikes. This was said by the BMO's Joyce. A lot of people are talking about it. The news that we keep getting is that apparently the Fed is looking to slow down or stop completely interest rate hikes. Is a couple of weeks away. I know it sounds weird. It's probably 8 to 10 weeks away. So off of this news, stocks are rising, and also the cryptocurrency market is in green as well. That's all the price news. I know it's a lot. There's always a lot going on. And yeah, let's move on. In one of the most popular news stories of the day, Bitcoin Cash advocate and veteran of the crypto space, his name is Roger Ver, is being sued by bankrupt lender Genesis for allegedly failing to settle option trades. I think this news is more Schadenfreude than anything. That is to say, Schaden in German means damage and Freude means joy. So like the joy from the damage of someone else is the way you would translate that. Roger Ver has been in the crypto space for at least a millennium at this point. He was known very early as like the advocate for Bitcoin. He was the guy to go to talk to about Bitcoin. You can find videos of him walking around. I believe he lives in Tokyo. You can find videos of him walking around Japan, handing out flyers, buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's amazing. He was noted as one of the very few people who was telling people to buy Bitcoin when it was around $5, $10, $15 and how amazing it was. And a lot of people got rich because of his crypto preaching on the streets. That's what what people say. And then at some point, he said that he believed that Bitcoin could be something more. So he decided to fork Bitcoin and create Bitcoin Cash. And at that point, the legend goes that he completely lost his mind. He thought that Bitcoin Cash would become the number one coin. He is the owner of the website called, I think it's just Bitcoin. And remember I told you before that there was a website where you could buy actual number one coin Bitcoin. But on that website, it was run by the guy who created Bitcoin Cash, and he believed that Bitcoin Cash was simply Bitcoin. So on that website, if you bought Bitcoin, you were actually buying Bitcoin Cash. And if you were buying number one coin Bitcoin, they called it Bitcoin Core. So people were buying Bcash on the website, trying to transfer it to their Bitcoin wallet. And guess what? They couldn't because it wasn't actually Bitcoin. That's this guy. That's this guy who we're talking about right here. He is not liked within the cryptocurrency space. The last time I said Roger Ver had to be around 2018, 2019. I mean, this guy was in the news he was basically the Elon Musk, what's the other guy? Charles Hoskinson equivalent. This guy was in the news every single day saying something about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin Cash was so much better. So, according to a filing at the New York State Supreme Court, Ver has 20 days to answer a complaint from Genesis regarding his alleged failure to settle a $20 million cryptocurrency option transaction. The complaint in the filing states, the action seeks the following relief: a judgment awarding plaintiff with money damages for defendant's failure to settle cryptocurrency options transactions that expired on December 30th of last year, in the amount to be determined at trial, but no less than $20,869,788 US dollars, an award of plaintiff's costs, expenses, and reasonable attorney fees incurred in bringing this action. So, I wish I was joking. One of the most popular news stories of the last 2 days that won't seemingly end. Once again, this is why I believe it's Schadenfreude, as a lot of people do not like him, and he has been schadened, he has been damaged by this in some sort of way. Everyone's talking about it. So the news is that Roger Ver allegedly owes money for the bankruptcy of Genesis and is now being taken to court or something like that. Years ago, and I cringe, people used to call him Bitcoin Jesus, as he was, preaching I know the cryptocurrency space is very cringy, as he used to preach the word of Bitcoin on the streets. This is why every time that I hear things like that, I just avoid them or simply don't say them. It's the same exact thing where Hester Pierce from the SEC, people call her Crypto Mom. It's very cringy. There's another guy who works, I believe, in the SEC or did for the SEC before, and people years ago tried calling him Crypto Dad. I think people want these little nicknames for these people who they want to trust, but it just shows you have a lot of issues with dealing with normal people in your life, and you keep giving them these cutesy names. It's not normal, and it's very, very weird. This is why years ago, even the idea of calling him Bitcoin Jesus, it's very weird because he's not. Just completely, plain and simply, he completely switched sides. Anyway, so the news that's been everywhere, I'm pretty sure many of you maybe even heard about it. Roger Ver is allegedly, he needs to pay back some money. Some of the news that I saw was that he's broke and can't pay it. Other news was nope, he definitely is rolling in the monies and can easily pay it back. Who cares? Not many people. I wish him the best of luck. I hope his Bitcoin Cash endeavors do something that he said that they would do back in 2017. That's the Roger Ver news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in super popular news, and this is more of a PSA, a public service announcement. Kevin Rose, the co-founder of the NFT collection Moonbirds, has fallen victim to a phishing scam, leading to more than $1.1 million worth of his personal NFTs being stolen. The last couple of days, months, but more so this year, the NFT market, along with the cryptocurrency market, has also re-risen. Prices are going back up. A lot of renewed interest back in this space is rapidly encroaching, if you will. And as such, the amount of scams that are also going on has also begun to rise as well. It just kind of makes sense. More people making money, more scammers are going to be out there. I've mentioned this video. It is the third time, I think twice or three times this year, and also towards the end of this year as well. Please understand, if you are into the NFT space, especially if you have your stuff on OpenSea, understand that you can put your NFTs onto a ledger. That is not me trying to promote my affiliate link. It's more of a there's far too many of these things going on. I was already robbed last year as well of my NFTs that I had on OpenSea. So just understand that there are other ways, if you are getting into the NFT space or already in the NFT space, other ways to protect your tokens, if you will, because what's happening now is that a lot of the larger people in the space, the actual creators of these coins and these platforms and these collections, they're also being robbed. We had one a week and a half ago as well. So just a public service announcement. Understand that there are other ways to secure your stuff. You don't have to have all of it on a cryptocurrency exchange or all of your stuff, air quotes, on MetaMask and or on OpenSea. There are other ways to protect your money. Yeah, just a message, because these are going to increase. Once we start hearing about these NFTs reselling for $250,000 and $500,000, I implore you to get a ledger. Really, unless you plan on immediately selling at that moment, you have to protect your assets. It's just completely a given. That's the NFT phishing scam news. Let's move on. In what I can only say is the most popular news story of the day. I mean, it completely washed out anything else that was in the news. Electric car maker Tesla did not buy or sell any Bitcoin in the fourth quarter for the second straight quarter. the company reported on Wednesday in its earnings report. The value of its digital assets at the end of the quarter was $184 million, down from $218 million at the end of the third quarter due to the impairment charges from a decline in Bitcoin's price. At the end of the third quarter, the price of Bitcoin was slightly under 20,000, and it talks about the other movements. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of people love Elon Musk, reasons I will never possibly understand. However, when we got news that Elon Musk had purchased some Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin jumped quite dramatically. When we had news that allegedly SpaceX was holding some Bitcoin, the price jumped dramatically. When we had official news that Tesla was buying and holding Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price completely lost its mind. However, at some point, I believe it was last year, we had news that Tesla had actually sold some of their Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin actually went down. Tesla is not Bitcoin. They do not create Bitcoin. They are not Satoshi Nakamoto. However, people were like, if Elon Musk is selling, I'm selling, because people have to follow someone. So the news is that, I'm not joking, is that Tesla did not sell any more of their Bitcoin. And a lot of people are quite joyous over this news. It says, here's how many Bitcoin Tesla holds. Tesla remained a Bitcoin holder during quarter 2 of 2022. Elon Musk's Tesla held onto its Bitcoin in quarter 4 despite market turbulence. I think we're supposed to praise him or pat him on the back or talk about how amazing it is that they did not sell any of it over the course of the year as Elon Musk was losing a lot of money. I saw, so can anyone confirm this? I saw, and I even heard about this at multiple podcasts yesterday. They were talking about, I think Elon Musk is now officially the person who has lost the most amount of wealth the quickest in human history. I think he lost like 180 or $200 billion worth of wealth from Tesla going down, Twitter going down. I think they're also trying to, once again, I read somewhere that apparently Twitter's now trying to sell the furniture just to keep the lights on. Like actually, like they're selling desks. Anyway, the point is, the most popular news story of the day is that despite Bitcoin's price going down, Tesla did not sell any extra Bitcoin, and how amazing it is to have witnessed such a feat happening. I found this on about 20 different websites. I think I only have 4 or 5 tabs open here. But wonderful. Most popular news story of the day. Amazing, right? Yeah. Moving along. Also in very popular news, because I think people just need something to talk about, Elizabeth Warren has announced that she thinks that the crypto industry is scared of a strong SEC. She's not wrong, but she's also not right. People don't like the SEC because we have. If I've noticed and you've noticed, just going off of like daily news, how corrupt the SEC actually is, right? I think it's the fear of further corruption and the corrosion of the cryptocurrency space because of the SEC that is causing people to be, and I air quote here, scared of the SEC. If we had seen from the get-go back in 2017 in the olden days of crypto, if we had seen the SEC give proper cryptocurrency regulation as to what is and what is not a security, proper metrics, as opposed to the way that the SEC functions is like a totalitarian dictator. They tell you 5 years later when you've done something wrong, as opposed to telling you from the get-go. The SEC knows when all these companies are, and I air quotes here, doing something wrong or against securities laws. Why not tell them immediately? Why wait until the last day in office of the head of the SEC to give Ripple a lawsuit? That is a clear form of corruption. You knew or can allege that these people were doing something wrong. Why not tell them before? The idea is that if you keep giving the SEC more power, as we've seen them over the last 6 to 7 years, of course people will be scared because we know that they are corrupt. Why is it that the CFTC, whenever they pop up into the news, they talk about cryptocurrency regulations, but it's in a way that people can understand? hey, we think you guys should fall under the same banking rules. If you sign up for a cryptocurrency exchange, we'll just simply need the same exact information that you would normally give to your bank. Oh, that sounds completely reasonable. Why doesn't the SEC say any of that? Why doesn't the SEC actually fall in line and regulate as opposed to terrorize companies who are trying to become bigger in the cryptocurrency space? It's because of corruption. So like I said, she's right, but she's also wrong. People are scared of a stronger SEC because they also know that a lot of these companies have left the United States. We've gone over that many other times before. I told you that back in 2018. If they don't give proper regulations, everyone's going to leave. The news that we got a couple of days ago was that every single new company that Ripple has been working with is actually outside of the United States. Why would they want to remain inside of the US? How many other companies have you heard have left the United States and have gone to Ireland, have gone to Germany, have gone to Dubai, have gone to Asia? I think the SEC should be more afraid of how large that they've gotten because everyone's simply just not going to do business with them. Even I still don't understand why people even do business in New York. I was shocked multiple times on this channel when I found out how high taxes are even in New York. Why is anyone living in New York? What's the point of it's anyway? That's a whole nother topic in and of itself, but it has to do with Wall Street and people talking about New York being the money maker of the world. You know how many other places have a 0% tax as opposed to a 55 to 60% tax? So anyway, this was quite popular. I assume it had to do with people not liking Warren Buffett? Elizabeth Warren, there we go. Elizabeth Warren, and sure, why not? If the SEC actually gave proper regulation, we would not be in this spot right now, but they don't give regulation, so everybody hates them and nobody wants to work with them. Right. Moving along. Also in very popular news, financial advisors for FTX have at last revealed the company's complete list of their creditors. That is to say, people who they owe money to late on Wednesday. The document shows the names of companies owed money by FTX, providing an expansive view of entities wrapped up in the exchange's bankruptcy. The major news story of the day is that apparently, is it their list anywhere? No. Okay. Anyway, so Apple, Netflix, and Coinbase were revealed on the court documents. A lot of people were like, what? I can't believe it. That's crazy. So, and I'm going to, back it up here once again. For those of you who don't know, FTX was not and is not the only cryptocurrency exchange that did what they did. I need to preface that because simply I think people think that FTX was one weird entity. All these things work the same. You know how BlackRock actually operates and know why they own stock in nearly everything on the planet, or own everything, air quotes, if you will. It's because one of the great ways to diversify is to basically own a bit of everything. If you have hundreds of millions of dollars, you can own hundreds of millions of different assets around the world, what have you, yada, yada, yada. Same exact thing if you have billions. A lot of these larger companies, we've gone over this before. Apple, Google, Fidelity, what's the other one? Amazon. You know that Amazon is just not reinvesting their money into Amazon. Amazon owns hundreds and thousands of other companies and entities and pieces of real estate. Same exact thing with Apple and Netflix. Netflix is simply not, oh, guys, we made $50. Let's make a new movie and then throwing that back into something. No, the way that you make sure that you are hyper diversified should a sector of something fall is you put money into another sector. The cryptocurrency space allegedly is poised to become a $100 trillion market at some point in the next 10 to 20 years. How do you capitalize on that? You put money into every cryptocurrency exchange. When they have funding rounds, you know how they have a Series A, Series B, Series C. Hey, we're looking to raise $100 million. Apple, Netflix, Coinbase, you name it, they come forward and they say, here's $500,000. Here's $1 million. That's how these things work. I think a lot of people don't understand how intertwined everything actually is, and it's not your fault. When you hear about companies raising money, you never normally see a list of the 300 companies or entities who have given them money for whatever the case might be. So it's not only that FTX has creditors or people who they owe money to, Coinbase also has it, as does Binance, as does Kraken. You cannot become a multi-billion-dollar entity as a company without owing someone else. It's the same exact thing. You saw before when we were, for those of you who missed about the acquisition of Twitter from Elon Musk, I told all of you in a video, and tons of people left dislikes because you don't understand how money works. Elon Musk did not have that money liquid. We got news as well that one of the major news stories in our court, our side, was that Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, was also giving, I think, $500 million or $1 billion to Elon Musk for the acquisition of Twitter as well. When you hear about a billionaire being worth $250 billion, that money is not liquid. It's tied up in their stocks. It's tied up in their companies. It's tied up in real estate that they also have $100 million mortgages for. So what do you do when you're trying to finance something? You have to get money from creditors, from debtors, from people who are going to give you this actual money that you'll pay back in the form of some sort of note or over the course of the next 20-year period in stocks or whatever the case might be. So this news was incredibly popular. People were like, I can't believe that even Apple was helping Sam Bankman-Fried. No, you idiots. That's not how any of this works. It's not. It's you put if you have enough money, you put money into everything. Everything you possibly can. If you have $7.5 billion at your disposal, you make sure that at the end of the year, if you made $1.25 billion, that is alleged, of course, tax-free from any of these companies, you push that into many other different sectors across the world, across multiple different countries. So, of course, I would also go as far as to say, hear me out here, Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, and Binance probably also have Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Google, Bed Bath & Beyond also as their creditors. That's how money works. Have any of you seen a documentary on debt? Not personal debt, not credit card debt, but how in debt the world actually is? It's staggering. It's quadrillions of dollars. That's not a fake number. It is literal quadrillions of dollars. Look at how much countries are in debt to each other. The world runs on debt. Remember, like every single time that you keep hearing, it's just about once a year now, how the U.S. has to keep raising its debt ceiling? Yeah, it's because you have to keep raising it because you can't actually pay back the rest of it. That's the FTX news. This gave the Tesla news a huge run for its money, because a lot of people were like, I can't believe it. Why is all, how it's all intertwined. All of it. Haven't you noticed? Remember the middle of last year when one country did something that they should not have done and basically walked onto another piece of dirt that was not there? Yeah, remember that? And how like prices for food began to go up? Did you pay attention to why certain food prices were going up? It's because the world was actually getting a portion of their food stuff from just two places on the planet. The world doesn't make any sense. Everything is so intertwined. If you cut one of the cords, everything else begins to collapse. Anyway, that's the FTX news. What? Apple, Netflix, and Coinbase? I can't believe that. That seemingly doesn't make any sense. How would they ever work that out in finance? News. Alrighty. Let's move on. As always, a gigantic thank you to my Patreon support. Like it does the mind so well. Like start watching financial documentaries. I don't know if it can't just be me. I'm not the only one watching financial documentaries. I'm almost obsessed with them. I love learning about money, and I found a really weird obsession with watching documentaries about, hear me out here, about people who haven't saved. It gives me this like jolt of electricity to like make sure that I invest even more money and put more money away so that I don't end up like them. I know that sounds a bit terrible, but it's kind of the idea. Like I was watching something even last night. There's like thousands of these documentaries. There was something last night. They were talking about people who were basically didn't have enough money. They used the P word. I won't say it. Didn't have enough money and how they got into this situation. But as they were talking to these people, I noticed a very common trend. They were all over the age of 49. Like lowest was 49. And they were like, I can't afford bread. I can't afford this. My rent is going up. And I sat there being like, and this is not to, blame, but it's more like so many people just don't save. People don't invest. People don't put money away. Like if these people had put, a fraction, even like $100 away every single month since they were 20, or invested it in the stock market or put it into some dividend stocks or anything else, like how much more they would have. So, and I don't know, it's one of my obsessions, like watching documentaries like this, simply because I'm like, you have to invest. You have to put money away. You have to understand if you are in your 20s, you're going to get into your 30s. If you're in your 30s, you will get into your 40s. If you're in your 40s, you will hit your 50s. Why are you not putting money away? Why are you buying all these new TVs and ingesting food and other consumables that you probably should not be taking when you can use that money to put away? Like, whatever. I have my own opinions. As always, a very big thank you to my Patreon supporters: Martin Stoyer, Bodie McBoatface, Sam Ratter, Dotha Diddy, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, and Let's Move On, Empire Queen, Roman Gabe, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave the Dealer, Zen Captain, Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Lauren De Silva, Quartabitty, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Patrick Noster, Kavara Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Nostromo, John Sarsi, the Animal Rita, Bibliophobia, Adam Grayseg, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Setsuna, Paxis, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Jester Crypto, Anytime Fitness, Monks Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Machonisa, and on Crypto with Lionel. Hit my leg. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who has left a like, who has left a comment, who has subscribed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I'm not the only one watching those documentaries. They're so fascinating. I always find it so, I don't know. I think I'm so in the mindset and have been in the mindset for so long to make sure that I constantly have shields, financial shields around me for situations and for life. The idea of not putting money away, of not buying art, of not buying studio apartments, of not having like some kind of extra cash flow, I find it terrifying. Like actually mortification, if you will. I find it very odd. So I'm still that friend during dinner when everyone's talking about the new clothes that they bought or the vacations that they're going on. I always try to, here's something I do. I whisper into my friends' ears loudly, and I'm like, hey, how much was your holiday? Or how much was your new pair of shoes? Have you thought about putting an equal amount of that into some retirement investing fund? They always roll their eyes, but, I'm trying to help. I can only imagine where they're going to be in 15 to 20 years. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently up by 1.72%. There was a really weird spike about 14 hours ago. Don't know how high the price got. It is currently a smidge away from $23,000. Ethereum is up by 4%. It is at 1,617. Binance Coin is up by 1.5. XRP is up by 1.5. Cardano is up by 5.2. Doge is up by 2.5. Solana is up by 5. Matic is up by 5. Shiba Inu is up by 2.6. Avalanche is up by 4. Uniswap is up by 3. Cosmos is up by 4. Monero is up by 4% as well. Aptos is currently up by 35 percentile points. ApeCoin is up by 11%. There was no ApeCoin news. I assume something is happening behind the scenes. I think the coin got to $3 was its low. Near Protocol is up by 7%. Filecoin is up by 6% as well. VChain is up by 5. Aave is up by 7. EOS is up by 4.6. Doesn't make any gosh darn sense. Flow is up by 3.9. Phantom is up by 8.2. Tezos is up by 4.2 as well. Very, very interesting time. We will see if when the markets open in the United States, if prices continue to go back up, I would logically assume, hear me out here, as we are getting very, very close to the next Fed rate hike. Prices tend to fall the day before. the day of and half of the day after we have heard about this. We've seen this like 6 other times last year. It's usually 2 days after we have heard about the actual rate hike increase that prices then begin to go back up as we get indications that we have another 5 or so weeks before the next hike actually ends up taking place. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it is the greatest day of your life. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, commenting, subscribing, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.